Joining us now will be Haydar Haba, managing partner and founder of Andra Capital. Thank you so much for joining us. We've seen a lot of tech layoffs this quarter, this year, including more possibly headed for Meta that we found out about this morning. So should we expect to see even more this year?
Yeah, there's a few laggers that really didn't take action in the last 6 months. And like I said before, the days of growth at all costs is over, right? And companies, especially in growth tech, now have to face a difficult decision, the one who did not do the layoffs. Either, do the layoffs or you watch your margins and your stock prices go down.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I think that a lot of companies, you're right, a lot of companies have seen that very clear option. And so let's move on to Palantir. We are expecting the report to come out soon. So what should we look for?
Well, see, Palantir is in a difficult milestone. They are a company that came out, we were early investors in them, that came out and said that we're going to grow at all costs, right? So they delayed the decision of doing the layoffs, and they chose the growth at all costs. And that's reflected really in their stock price. And you can see most of the analysts out there, they lowered their guidance all the way from 13 to many of them below 8. And you can see that reflected really well in the stock price. And I expect the same from these guys. This thing is going to take, according to their guidance, they claim their path to profitability is about 2 years from today. And I think the market, with the way the interest rates are, is not going to like that very much. And you should see that continuous reflection of price, unless they surprise us with some, change in their guidance. And I don't know how they could do that when the IT spend have shrunk in the last, few months to a year.
That's a really bold move for this company to try its best not to do layoffs. But you also mentioned the guidance. Are you expecting anything specific for the growth outlook for Palantir?
Well, they are the king of big data, right? Mm-hmm. There's not really much out there. There's other companies who compete in this space, but they are literally, to us, they're the gorilla in the market, right? It's a new field. There's a lot of people that have still old, archaic system, which will need something like Palantir technology to come and do the job for them. And we are okay. Half of their revenue is from government contracts. The other half is from commercial guys. We believe the growth is out there, but in an era of inflation and an era of little spend in IT, we're going to see, I believe, some slow in that guidance. But they have a very bold CEO, and so I believe he's going to go against the market, or at least the sentiment of the market, to prove a point that they're going to grow again at all costs.
You mentioned that one of the areas that this company has as clients is the government, but what are some areas of opportunity that people may not be talking about as much for Palantir or for that particular industry?
Well, there is a new differentiator coming in the market, which is called AI. We used to believe it's a science fiction, and in reality, and we've seen it in ChatGPT and other platforms coming in the market, it's very real. And it's a scary real, right? It's so good. And you're going to see many of the tools out there, especially in big data, who's going to embed some of these AI technologies within their platform, which makes it more usable, more reliable, more easier to use. And I think Palantir is going to do a good job in that regard.
That's really interesting and a great point, something that we talked about in the last block, just about the whole AI infusion. But I wonder if the lead up to this and the actual realization of it will be enough to offset those slower growth numbers that will be inevitable in some ways. What are you thinking about that?
I think over the next 2 years, they're going to grow at a lower pace. The reality is reality. You know, if you don't have the IT spend to spend it and your contracts are very, long term to get, you're going to see some decline in the speed of their growth. If you look at the previous year, they were growing somewhere in the 40%, and now they're dropping in the 20 region. And that's really difficult for investors to bite.
Very much so. You can see how revenue growth slowed specifically over the past couple of years. Growth margin was about flat, but R&D expenses are up. So we'll see if they continue to go up as this company and others research things like AI and other parts of the business. Haydar Haba, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, managing partner and founder of Andra Capital.